Good afternoon. My name is Abbigail Wheeler and I am 16 years old. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my story with you today. On April 27th, while attending swim practice at the YMCA, I went into the women's locker room to use the restroom. As I was headed to the stalls, I witnessed a man standing next to two other adults who were sitting on the changing benches. I also want to clarify a miscommunication that occurred in a previous interview. To be clear, I did not see the man naked and no male genitalia was exposed. However, I did see the man changing in the women's locker room. After seeing the man in the women's locker room, I was scared and upset. I decided to leave immediately because I was alone with them and felt very uncomfortable. I went to my coach, Alex Tatura, and told him that there is a man in the women's locker room. He responded that he was aware of it and there was nothing he could do. That is when I realized this was not my first time seeing this man in the women's locker room. About roughly 4 months earlier, I was again in the locker room changing with a group of girls out of our swimsuits. When I looked across the locker room, I saw what I thought was a very manly looking woman sitting on a chair in the corner wearing a women's swimsuit. Even though it seemed suspicious, I didn't say anything and kept myself wrapped in my towel while changing. At this time, I had no reason to believe men were changing in the women's locker room at the YMCA. On May 10th, I spoke again to my head coach, Alex Tatura, and the CEO of the YMCA, Angie Soul. When I asked my coach how long they knew that biological men were changing in the women's locker room, I was laughed at and told that, I quote, "transgenders have been around a long time." I replied, "That is not what I asked," and restated the question to them. Finally, the CEO responded that the YMCA had been aware for a while. I was also told that if I wasn't comfortable changing in the women's locker room, that I could use the family changing areas or not use the facilities at all. Shortly after being told this, my teammate and I, Lucy, decided to make informative signs to let people know that biological men were changing in the women's locker room while parents and families were completely unaware and young girls were present. The next day at practice, my head coach Alex and the YMCA branch director Kenzie Primus pulled the girls' team aside, telling us that hateful messages were hung in the women's locker room. They said that these signs were considered hate speech, discriminatory, and disrespectful. After talking with us, my teammate and I went to our coach and told him that we were gladly a part of this. I explained to him that the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association, and I was raised in a Christian home. I know what the Christian values are, and the YMCA was not upholding the Christian values like they say they are. He responded to me by saying that it would no longer be appropriate for us to practice with the team, and the YMCA would be in contact with our families, and we were sent home. In that moment, I knew that my efforts in bringing awareness to the fact that biological men were using the women's changing spaces in the YMCA.
We love you, Abby!
Weren't going to be enough. I did all the right things. I saw something that was obviously wrong, and I told my coach, someone who I am supposed to trust, someone who I am supposed to be able to come to when I feel unsafe or scared. Instead, all of my feelings of unsafety, fear, and vulnerability were simply brushed aside. I was made to feel as though I was in the wrong. I was made to feel as though there was something wrong with me feeling uncomfortable changing in the women's locker room, where biological men were being allowed to undress in the same space as me and my underage teammates. Not only were my feelings discredited, but I was also removed from my swim team and banned from the YMCA. I am here in hopes that sharing my story will reach parents, future parents, coaches, churches, and members of the YMCA. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Illinois Freedom Caucus and the Independence Women's Forum for allowing me to share my story, and for everyone that has come out to support me today.
It's a crazy word out there, bro. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. I can't believe she got banned. This is what happens when you decide to remove God and the fear of God from everything. People start acting like they have no common sense, no morals at all. And the young girl said it. She was raised with Christian values, but the YMCA, Christian Association, is now ignoring those values and is promoting degeneracy. I'm just gonna say it. Another reason why this is happening, the vast majority of men in the United States are now cowards. I mean, some of them are turning into women, so that tells you everything. And don't forget Democrats. You can thank Democrats for this. And this Biden administration. This is sad. Trump 2024. God bless you. God bless her. Catch you on the next one. Wow.